If many of you are aware of my music, over the last 20 or 15 years or so, I have always kind of engaged with the idea that digital media is about this notion of a global vocabulary. And I firmly believe that as we move further into the 21st century, one of the major issues facing us is climate change. I don't think it's a debate. I don't think it's something where the numbers and the science is unsettled. It's very clear that this is a major issue. But I also think that it's very clear that the arts have an incredible and very powerful role to play in raising awareness. So tonight what I want to do is walk you through some of the issues that face me as a composer, and I also want to kind of walk you all through my hard drive here as some of the issues that I'm thinking about as I look at the role of the composer and the artist and the writer in this era of just very, very radical change in the environment. So what I want to do is walk you guys through some of the material that drives why I think the Arctic is so important. I ended up writing a book about the Arctic and Antarctic, but mainly from the viewpoint of science. First, we looked at proto-scientists, Galileo and Kepler. And Johannes Kepler, in 1611, he was on his way home, and a snowflake landed on his sleeve, and essentially, this is considered to be one of the first mathematical treatises looking at how mathematics and nature are in dialogue. And I love thinking about that because he ended up writing this essay, 6 Sides of a Snowflake, and what ends up happening is that set the tone for how we think about geometry in nature. So let me just show you, kind of what that looks like, because I think it's always important. Here, when you see an ice piece of crystal here, you're seeing essentially permutation of form. You're seeing a geometry at work, a very beautiful, precise sense of nature, and above all, what ends up happening is this is pure mathematics. So what the song you're about to hear is called Ice Sonification, and it's based on this idea that Johannes Kepler's essays and his equations generated a whole sensibility that here we are in the era of algorithms. Next thing you know, we can take that math and make it become music. So let's lead you through it. This is what they call a Max MSP patch, and this is the music and software that you're going to be hearing in a moment. Essentially what we did was take the equations, plug it into the software, and use it to generate mathematically correct, very specific sound patterns. And again, you're going to be seeing basically the mathematical equivalent of ice. My next book actually is about apps and design. And I was really interested in the tension between those instruments, which are incredibly beautiful instruments. The cello has been around for several hundred years. The violin also has a long history. How do we figure on the role of apps and design in a modern sensibility with a composer who's very intrigued by data? So I came up with an iPad app, and what we're going to be doing now is essentially as a virtual string quartet with 2 turntables, violin and cello. So when I was in the Arctic Circle with the Sierra Club crew, we ended up meeting this incredible tribe called the Gwich'in people, and they're one of the oldest nations, First Nations in North America. They're over 20,000 years old civilization, and I took a long walk with one of their tribal elders. And they were just pointing at the landscape. I said, this is quite beautiful, it's really amazing. And the guy was essentially like, well, we don't know how to describe this. It shouldn't be green. I was like, oh, So for me, as a Southerner, someone from DC, going to one of the most remote and northern parts of the US and seeing green, I thought that was amazing. For them, it was a sign of disaster. So this next piece is dedicated to the people that think that there's no debate about climate change. So this next piece is called Check Your Math. you.